All right, now we're going to start out at daylight. That'll give you a 4-hour start and enough time to circle the flats and get across the plateau.
Fine, we'll be there, Paul.
Good.
Let's
See
go.
For over a decade, Bonanza captured the hearts of millions, transporting viewers to the sprawling Ponderosa Ranch and into the lives of the steadfast Cartwright family. With its unforgettable opening music and sweeping landscapes, the series became a cornerstone of American television. Yet, as the iconic Western rode into the sunset in 1973, fans clung on to the memory of the show. However, even the greatest fans might be shocked when we reveal this huge blooper in Bonanza that nobody noticed until now. But before we get to that, let's take a walk through memory lane, shall we? The Cartwright family dynamics. The Cartwright family in Bonanza remains one of the most iconic portrayals of kinship, loyalty, and moral steadfastness in television history. At the heart of the series is the father figure, Ben Cartwright, and his 3 sons, Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe. Spanning 14 seasons from 1959 to 1973, Bonanza captivated audiences with its portrayal of familial love set against the rugged backdrop of the Ponderosa Ranch. Ben Cartwright, played by Lorne Greene, is the cornerstone of the Cartwright family and the guiding force behind the Ponderosa Ranch. A rugged, principled man of profound wisdom, Ben's character is shaped by his tumultuous past, including the loss of 3 wives, each of whom bore him a son. His love for his sons is unwavering, and his commitment to raising them with integrity and respect remains paramount. Ben's leadership style is one of respect rather than dominance, allowing each son to grow into their own identity while upholding family values. Whether mediating conflicts or imparting life lessons, Ben is portrayed as the quintessential father figure. Each of the 3 sons represents a facet of human nature, allowing viewers to see their own struggles and triumphs mirrored on screen. The eldest son, Adam, portrayed by Pernell Roberts, is the intellectual of the family. Educated and introspective, Adam often serves as the voice of reason, guiding his younger brothers with thoughtful advice. His level-headedness and maturity come from a sense of responsibility, having helped his father raise his younger siblings. Often seen as the architect of the family, both literally, as he designed the Ponderosa's sprawling ranch house, and metaphorically, as he provides structural support to the family unit, Adam embodies the ideal of a dutiful son while grappling with his own desire for independence. Middle son Hoss, played by Dan Blocker, is the heart of the family. A towering figure with a soul as big as his stature. Gentle and kind-hearted, Hoss is often seen as the peacekeeper among his brothers, diffusing tensions with humor and empathy. His affinity for animals and his unwavering compassion mark him as the family's moral compass, reminding his brothers that strength comes not from force, but from kindness. Hoss's simple wisdom often transcends his brothers' more analytical approaches. Whether befriending a stray dog or helping a wayward traveler, Hoss's actions consistently demonstrate that gentleness and strength can coexist. His innocence and unguarded optimism provide a necessary counterbalance to Adam's seriousness and Little Joe's impulsiveness. The youngest Cartwright, Little Joe, played by Michael Landon, embodies youthful energy and passion. His fiery temper and impulsiveness frequently lead him into trouble, but his courage and zest for life make him an endearing character. Unlike his brothers, Joe's decisions often stem from emotion rather than logic, but his loyalty to his family is indisputable. Little Joe's impetuous nature occasionally puts him at odds with Adam's rationality and Hoss's calm demeanor. but the love among the brothers is never in question. His journey from a hot-headed youth to a more measured adult serves as a narrative arc throughout the series. The Cartwrights are more than just a family. They are a symbol of enduring love and unity in the face of adversity. The brothers' personalities may clash, but their bond remains unbroken. Each episode reinforces the theme that, while differences are inevitable, mutual respect and unwavering support define the Cartwright legacy. Bonanza is defined by its masterful blend of action-packed storytelling with profound emotional depth. Set against the rugged backdrop of the American West, the series balances thrilling shootouts and cowboy heroics with introspective moments that delve into the characters' personal struggles and moral dilemmas. This duality allows the show to explore social issues such as justice, family loyalty, and the complexities of human nature, making it more than just a traditional Western. Episodes often challenge preconceived notions of right and wrong, pushing characters to confront their beliefs while navigating the harsh realities of frontier life. And the numbers show just how popular the show became. Global success and legacy. Premiering in 1959 and running until 1973, Bonanza carved out a unique space in the world of television with its captivating storytelling, complex characters, and blend of action and emotional depth. As one of the longest-running Western series in the history of American television, its legacy transcended cultural and geographical boundaries, earning devoted audiences worldwide. At the peak of its popularity, Bonanza consistently ranked among the top TV shows in the United States, captivating millions with the tales of the Cartwright family and their life on the Ponderosa Ranch. The series' appeal was not just limited to American audiences. It found an enthusiastic reception in Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Dubbed or subtitled versions allowed international viewers to connect with the characters' universal struggles of family loyalty, moral dilemmas, and human resilience. The picturesque settings, dynamic plot lines, and relatable family themes gave Bonanza a timeless appeal that resonated beyond its Western genre roots. One of the most significant aspects of Bonanza's global legacy lies in its direct influence on subsequent television productions. While it remained steadfastly Western in theme, the show's emphasis on family dynamics and character development paved the way for dramas that centered around interpersonal relationships rather than just action and adventure. This narrative approach inspired the creation of other iconic series, most notably Little House on the Prairie, which shared both thematic elements and a common creative influence through Michael Landon. Landon, who played Little Joe Cartwright, went on to create and star in Little House on the Prairie, bringing with him the storytelling ethos that made Bonanza successful. Beyond storytelling, Bonanza also made a lasting impact on production standards within the television industry. As one of the first TV shows to be broadcast in color, it set a high bar for visual quality at a time when most programs were still filmed in black and white. This decision to shoot in color was not purely aesthetic. It was strategically aligned with NBC's goal to promote RCA's color television sets. The breathtaking scenery of the Ponderosa Ranch and the vibrant depictions of life in the Old West became even more immersive, attracting audiences who wanted to experience the full visual splendor of the series. The enduring popularity of Bonanza also extended into the realm of commercial branding and merchandise. As the show gained momentum, its presence began to permeate various facets of pop culture. A wide array of branded products emerged, including toys, board games, comic books, and even music albums featuring songs performed by cast members like Lorne Greene and Michael Landon. These merchandise lines catered not only to children who idolized the heroic Cartwrights, but also to adults who appreciated the show's thematic depth. The show's legacy also found a unique extension in the digital age, where video games based on Bonanza surfaced, allowing a new generation to explore the Ponderosa Ranch in interactive formats. These games aimed to capture the essence of the series, from the iconic theme music to the rugged landscape and familial interactions. While the gameplay itself may not have achieved mainstream success, it nevertheless indicated the series' lasting cultural footprint. Bonanza also redefined how Western dramas could resonate with modern audiences. While other Westerns often leaned heavily on rugged individualism and untamed wilderness, Bonanza chose to highlight community, family bonds, and moral fortitude. This nuanced portrayal helped audiences relate to the Cartwrights not just as cowboys, but as fathers, brothers, and moral guides. Even after its conclusion, the series maintained a strong presence through reruns, keeping the spirit of the Ponderosa Ranch alive for new generations. But all was not well behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, tragedies and controversies. While audiences saw a tight-knit family fighting for justice and upholding moral values, the reality behind the scenes was often marked by loss, disagreements, and unforeseen difficulties. One of the most significant tragedies that affected Bonanza was the untimely death of Dan Blocker, who played Hoss Cartwright, the gentle giant beloved for his strength and kind-hearted nature. Blocker passed away unexpectedly in May 1972 due to complications following gallbladder surgery. His death left the cast and crew in shock, and it was a loss that rippled through the entertainment world. For Bonanza, this event was not just the loss of a major character, but a pivotal moment that significantly altered the show's tone. Hoss was the heart of the Cartwright family, and Blocker's portrayal brought warmth and humor that balanced the often dramatic storylines. The writers chose not to recast Hoss or gloss over his absence, but instead addressed the character's death subtly, marking a rare instance of genuine grief on a series that generally maintained a resilient, positive outlook. This decision, while respectful, marked the beginning of the end for the series, as viewers found it difficult to imagine the Cartwrights without their beloved middle brother. The loss also affected the remaining cast members, particularly Lorne Greene, who had shared a deep friendship with Blocker off-screen. Greene admitted that without Blocker, the dynamic of the show felt fundamentally altered. Prior to Blocker's death, Bonanza had already faced turbulence when Pernell Roberts, who portrayed Adam Cartwright, left the series in 1965. Roberts had become increasingly dissatisfied with the development of his character, feeling that Adam, originally portrayed as the intellectual and thoughtful eldest son, was being underutilized and relegated to a background role. Roberts, a classically trained actor, voiced his frustrations with what he saw as stagnant and repetitive plot lines. He also took issue with the show's lack of realism and its tendency to shy away from deeper social issues. Despite his criticisms, Roberts' departure left a void that was difficult to fill. While his exit was handled with grace on screen, with Adam written off as having left to build a life of his own, fans missed the nuanced presence that Adam had brought to the Cartwright family dynamic. Roberts' decision to leave also exposed a growing divide between the show's creative direction and the personal aspirations of its actors. Michael Landon, who portrayed Little Joe Cartwright, remained one of the show's constants throughout its run. But his personal life and growing influence on set also sparked controversies. As Landon matured, both as an actor and a writer-director, he took on a more significant creative role, eventually directing many episodes. However, his off-screen life was often marked by turbulent relationships and marital issues, which sometimes spilled into his professional environment. Landon's rise as a creative force also created subtle friction among the cast and crew, as his growing authority led to shifts in storytelling and production priorities. Despite these challenges, Landon's passion for storytelling kept the show vibrant. but it also highlighted how his evolving career ambitions sometimes conflicted with the established dynamics of the cast. One often overlooked aspect of Bonanza's behind-the-scenes story is the tension related to pay disparities and benefits among the cast members. As the series became increasingly popular, the gap between the leading cast's compensation and that of supporting actors and crew members grew noticeably wider. Some cast members felt that the success of the show was not equitably reflected in their salaries or benefits, leading to occasional discord. Lorne Greene, as the patriarchal figure both on and off screen, often played a mediating role. But the underlying tension revealed the challenges of maintaining morale on a long-running series, where success did not always translate into equal rewards. Beyond personal struggles and pay disputes, Bonanza faced the inevitable challenge of maintaining audience interest over its 14-season run. The early seasons had captivated viewers with fresh storylines, vibrant character interactions, and the novelty of a Western family drama. However, as the years went by, the formula began to feel repetitive, and newer, edgier shows started to captivate audiences looking for something different. The producers' efforts to introduce new characters or shift focus did little to rekindle the original magic, and the tragic loss of Hoss proved to be an insurmountable blow. Ratings began to decline, and the final season lacked the vigor that had defined Bonanza at its peak. Ultimately, Bonanza ended not just because of shifting audience tastes, but because the spirit of the show had changed irreparably. The combination of Blocker's death, Roberts' departure, on-set tensions, and evolving creative dynamics left the show without its original cohesion. The final episodes, while still crafted with care, carried a sense of fatigue, both from the cast and the writers who had struggled to maintain the narrative vibrancy that once defined the series. The finale that was not meant to be. Despite its legendary status, the series' ending was marked not by a triumphant closure, but by an abrupt and unsatisfying conclusion. The finale of Bonanza was not the grand farewell that fans had hoped for. Instead, it was the finale that was not meant to be. The primary reason for the series' anticlimactic ending was the unexpected and devastating death of Dan Blocker, who played Hoss Cartwright. As noted earlier, in May 1972, Blocker passed away at the age of 43 due to complications from gallbladder surgery. As Hoss, the gentle giant with a heart of gold, Blocker had become one of the most beloved characters on the show. His portrayal was fundamental to the family dynamic, providing a sense of warmth, humor, and stability amidst the challenges that the Cartwright family faced. Blocker's untimely death sent shockwaves through the cast, crew, and devoted audience. Producers were also left grappling with how to continue the series without one of its cornerstone characters. The producers made the difficult decision not to recast Hoss or to use plot devices to explain his absence. Instead, Hoss's death was subtly acknowledged in the opening episode of the final season, where it was clear from the somber tone and subdued performances that the characters were coping with a significant loss. Yet, there was no elaborate tribute or a storyline dedicated to honoring Hoss's memory. The writers chose not to dwell on his death, possibly to maintain the resilient spirit of the series. However, this lack of direct acknowledgement left many fans feeling unresolved grief. Blocker's death fundamentally changed the show's dynamic. Without Hoss, the family dynamic felt incomplete. Lorne Greene, who played Patriarch Ben Cartwright, found it particularly challenging to navigate his role without Blocker. Michael Landon, as Little Joe, and David Canary, who played Candy, also struggled with maintaining the familiar camaraderie that had become a hallmark of the show. Attempts to introduce new characters to fill the void fell flat, and the audience could sense that the show was not the same. Amid this somber atmosphere, Bonanza continued to air through the 1972 to 1973 season, but the episodes felt increasingly disjointed. Michael Landon, who had taken on greater creative control by writing and directing, did his best to craft stories that still honored the Cartwright legacy. However, without the chemistry and emotional balance that Hoss had provided, the final season lacked the cohesion that had defined earlier years. The producers knew that the series was running on borrowed time, but they hoped to at least conclude it on a dignified note. Unfortunately, network executives at NBC made the final decision to cancel the series without allowing for a conclusive farewell episode. After 14 years on the air, Bonanza was abruptly pulled from the schedule, with the last episode, The Hunter, airing on January 16, 1973. The episode itself was not a proper finale, as it focused on Joe Cartwright being pursued by a disturbed individual. Audiences were left without a sense of resolution, unsure of what became of the remaining Cartwrights or the Ponderosa itself. Despite the absence of a definitive conclusion, Bonanza has continued to live on through reruns, fan fiction, and tributes. The false finale became a lingering question that only deepened the show's mystique and cemented its place as a bittersweet icon of television history. Lost episodes and spin-offs. Throughout its 14-season run, Bonanza amassed an impressive catalog of episodes. Yet, behind the scenes, not every story envisioned by writers and producers made it to the screen. Several script ideas were drafted but never filmed, offering tantalizing what-if scenarios that could have added new layers to the Cartwright saga. One notable example involved deeper exploration of the Cartwrights' relationships with Native American communities, particularly following Adam Cartwright's marriage to a Native American woman. Writers had planned to develop this storyline more fully in later seasons, tackling issues of cultural tension, acceptance, and identity. However, changes in cast dynamics and network priorities meant these narratives were largely abandoned, leaving audiences with only brief glimpses of these complex themes. Lost scripts exploring the Ponderosa's interaction with neighboring ranchers and rival families were also shelved, which could have introduced more intricate, ongoing conflicts to the show's otherwise episodic format. Bonanza's universe also gave rise to multiple spin-offs that sought to capitalize on the series' popularity, but met with mixed success. The most famous of these was The Ponderosa, a modernized retelling of the original series that ran from 2001 to 2002 and focused on a young Ben Cartwright and the early days of the Ponderosa Ranch. While it attempted to appeal to a new generation by blending period drama with contemporary storytelling techniques, the Ponderosa struggled to find its footing. It was criticized for lacking the warmth and chemistry of the original cast, and for sometimes diverging too far from the core values that made Bonanza resonate with audiences. Despite its cancellation after one season, the series sparked renewed interest in the Bonanza world and introduced younger viewers to the Cartwright legacy. Another spin-off effort was Bonanza, The Next Generation, a 1988 TV movie that centered on the grandchildren of the original Cartwrights. This production aimed to bridge the gap between old fans and new, continuing the family story while addressing more modern Western themes. Although it featured cameos from surviving original cast members, it failed to capture the emotional depth or widespread appeal of the original series. Critics pointed to a formulaic plot and underdeveloped characters, which left longtime viewers longing for the authenticity and nuance that had defined the 1959 to 1973 run. Beyond these formal spin-offs, Bonanza's influence permeated countless Western-themed series and films, inspiring creators to borrow narrative devices and character archetypes rooted in the Cartwright mythos. Shows like Little House on the Prairie and The Big Valley echoed Bonanza's mix of family drama and frontier adventure, while the moral codes and conflicts of the Cartwrights set a benchmark for TV Western heroes. This influence extended to merchandising and popular culture, where the Ponderosa Ranch became a brand associated not only with a TV show, but also with toys, music, and even video games. In any case, these lost episodes and spin-offs also reflect the complexities of television production in the mid-20th century. Networks often dictated the direction and pace of shows based on ratings and market trends, which sometimes meant promising scripts were sidelined or never produced. Actors' contract disputes, health issues, and personal departures, such as Pernell Roberts' exit over dissatisfaction with his character's development, further complicated long-term storytelling plans. These lost episodes offer a compelling "what if" that continues to intrigue historians and fans alike. What if the show had explored the full depth of Adam Cartwright's mixed heritage storyline? How might the Cartwrights have adapted to the rapidly changing social and economic conditions of the late 1960s and early 1970s? Could a more serialized, complex narrative have extended Bonanza's relevance into the era of modern television drama? These unanswered questions highlight the evolving nature of television as a medium and the challenges of balancing audience expectations with creative ambitions. While some stories were left untold and some spin-offs failed to capture the original magic, the ongoing fascination with the Cartwright family underscores the timeless power of their story. But what about the stars who made it all possible? Life after Bonanza. Cast members' careers. The end of Bonanza in 1973 marked not just the close of a landmark television era, but also a pivotal moment for its principal cast members as they each faced the challenge of life after one of the most iconic Western series in history. Michael Landon arguably had the most remarkable post-Bonanza career, successfully transitioning from television Western star to a beloved figure in family dramas and inspirational programming. After portraying the youngest Cartwright son, Little Joe, Landon went on to produce, write, and star in Little House on the Prairie, a series that became a cultural phenomenon in its own right. The show, which aired from 1974 to 1983, allowed Landon to explore themes of family, morality, and hardship with a warmth and depth that resonated across generations. His creative control over Little House allowed him to evolve beyond the archetypal cowboy image, showcasing his range not only as an actor, but also as a storyteller. Later, with Highway to Heaven, which ran from 1984 to 1989, Landon embraced a spiritual narrative, playing an angel sent to help people heal and find hope. Pernell Roberts, who played Adam Cartwright, experienced a more complex and challenging post-Bonanza career. Roberts was openly dissatisfied with the limited development of his character during the show's run. His departure in 1965 reflected his desire to avoid typecasting and to seek roles with greater depth and diversity. However, escaping the long shadow of Bonanza proved difficult. While Roberts continued to act in theater, film, and television, including notable performances in series such as Trapper John, M.D., he never quite matched the widespread recognition he gained as Adam Cartwright. His insistence on artistic integrity sometimes led to fewer mainstream roles, but he earned respect within acting circles for his commitment to complex characters and social issues. Dan Blocker, the gentle giant who played Hoss Cartwright, remains one of the most warmly remembered figures from the series, despite his untimely death in 1972, just before the final season aired. Blocker's immense physical presence was matched by his capacity for tenderness and humor, making Hoss a beloved character whose absence was deeply felt by cast, crew, and fans alike. His death from a pulmonary embolism at age 43 was a devastating blow to the series and its audience. Blocker's legacy, however, is immortalized in the heartfelt performances he delivered and the profound affection viewers held for him. Though his career outside Bonanza was limited by his early passing, Blocker's influence endures, emblematic of the show's heart and soul. His ability to portray strength intertwined with vulnerability set a standard for Western heroes and left an indelible mark on television history. Lorne Greene, who played the patriarch Ben Cartwright, also enjoyed a sustained career after Bonanza. Known for his commanding voice and dignified presence, Greene transitioned smoothly into other roles in television and film, often cast as authoritative or wise figures. His portrayal of Ben Cartwright made him a symbol of leadership and steadfastness, qualities that audiences associated with Greene beyond the show. In the years following Bonanza, he hosted nature documentaries and continued to guest star in various TV programs. Greene's voice, in particular, became iconic, lending gravitas to narrations and announcements that further solidified his place in popular culture. Though he never again found a role as defining as Ben Cartwright, Greene's reputation as a respected actor and public figure remained intact until his passing in 1987. His career after Bonanza reflects the dignity and gravitas he brought to his most famous role, and his ability to adapt to new formats and audiences. And now, we come to the big reveal. You probably missed this blooper. Despite its legendary status as one of television's longest-running Western dramas, Bonanza was not immune to moments of unexpected humor and unintentional mistakes that made it all the more endearing to fans. One classic blooper that has amused longtime fans involved Dan Blocker, who played the beloved Hoss Cartwright. Known for his towering presence and gentle demeanor, Blocker's occasional flubs on set provided a humorous contrast to his on-screen stoicism. In one scene, a horse was supposed to gallop majestically across the Ponderosa Ranch backdrop, but instead, the horse unexpectedly tripped, causing a ripple of laughter among the cast and crew. Blocker's genuine chuckle made it into the final cut, a rare break from the intense, dramatic tone the show usually maintained. Beyond individual mistakes, Bonanza also featured occasional continuity errors that sharp-eyed fans have since cataloged and shared with enthusiastic devotion. For example, there were episodes where characters' hairstyles or costume details subtly changed mid-scene, or where props appeared or disappeared inexplicably between shots. In the episode titled The Horsebreaker, Little Joe is seen wearing a light-colored shirt while taming a horse. However, in the next shot, without any plausible reason or transition, he is suddenly wearing a darker shirt. Similarly, in the episode The Last Viking, Hoss is seen holding a rifle while talking to Ben. When the camera angle changes, the rifle disappears from his hands entirely, only to reappear in the next shot. Such continuity slip-ups are minor but amusing. While these details might frustrate the perfectionist, they reflect the challenges of producing a high-volume series with such ambitious scope. Filming on location, managing a large cast, and juggling complex storylines. These bloopers remind us that Bonanza was a human endeavor, full of unpredictability and the occasional slip, but always driven by a dedication to compelling storytelling. The authenticity of these minor errors paradoxically added to the series' charm and longevity, making it a living, breathing world rather than a sterile, flawless production. What makes these bloopers particularly fascinating is how they reveal Bonanza as more than just a Western. At its core, the show was an emotional journey that explored family loyalty, personal sacrifice, and moral dilemmas, often wrapped in the rugged landscape of the American frontier. The bloopers peel back the curtain on the making of these scenes, showing that behind every tense showdown or heartfelt family moment was a cast and crew navigating their own human challenges and moments of levity. This blend of seriousness with occasional humor created a unique viewing experience that helped Bonanza endure for 14 seasons. These light-hearted moments and minor errors reflect the show's enduring influence on modern television, blending intensity with humor and showcasing the humanity of its characters. These bloopers and behind-the-scenes mishaps add warmth and relatability, reminding audiences that even serious stories benefit from imperfections. This genuine, family-like atmosphere resonates with fans, creating a lasting connection that transcends generations. As a result, Bonanza remains a timeless series, cherished not just for its Western themes, but for its portrayal of flawed, relatable characters navigating life's challenges with courage and love. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.